Now, effective communication with Phil Zeller, CEO, Dale Carnegie, Southwest Michigan.
Question for you. What are you scared of? What are you scared of? Somebody asked me that question the other day. Said, Phil, what are you scared of? And I stopped and I thought about it for a moment. And I said, I am scared of crazy people with weapons. Oh, yes, I am. No laughing matter, even though I laugh about stuff like that. I've shared that with you before. You know, we all have tendencies in this world. A lot of times our tendencies come out, and I laugh when things kind of go crazy. I didn't realize I did that until I saw my daughter doing the exact same thing when she blew out her ACL on a soccer field. And she just laughed about it. I'm like, okay, now everybody's like, why is this girl laughing? She just blew out her ACL. And I'm, yep, she's her father's daughter. All right. But you think about things that we're scared of, and if you can't laugh at it, what do you do, right? So, you know, there's a lot of things that people are scared of. And these days, it seems like people are more scared of things than ever before. I don't know about you. Maybe it was the whole COVID thing, and it's still lingering with people. But there's a lot of fear out there, a lot of fear of a lot of things, and people are really in their own heads, and they're building things up. As the old saying goes, my mother used to always say this, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. And it seems like mountains are growing everywhere right now, and the flatlands are gone, and everything's turned into a mountain because people are really getting touchy, and people are really emotional, and people are really getting overcome by these little things that are just scaring the heck out of them. And next thing you know, they jump to conclusion, and that molehill turns into a mountain. So I was thinking about this the other day, and all of a sudden I'm in my car and I'm listening to the radio, and I hear a comedian come on the radio, and I always love good comedy. You got to love good comedy, right? So this comedian's talking about he's in his car, and all of a sudden the lights come on behind him, and he's being pulled over by a police officer. And as he's getting pulled over, he said, I was really scared. I put my arms out the window. I was so scared. Please, I'm really scared getting pulled over by a police officer. And you could just imagine this guy's freaking out because he's getting pulled over by a police officer. Now, it's his story, not mine. So I'm just telling you his story. And he's really freaking out. And then he said he looked in the rearview mirror at the police officer who had pulled him over to watch his behavior. And then he noticed that the police officer was scared too. So now he's scared in the car, just got pulled over. He looks back and he knows the police officer is very apprehensive about getting out of the car with the hand on the gun and everything else, and all this stuff's going on. And now he said, then I really got scared. I was scared before, but when I saw the police officer scared too, I thought, this can't end well. We're all scared, right? And I'm listening to this, and I'm thinking, oh, my gosh, put yourself in that situation. And this comedian did such a great job describing the situation of what happens when everybody's scared. That's not a situation you want to be in. It's not going to end well at the end of that scenario, and that's the point that he was making. So think about this for a moment. Think about the things that scare you. Now, Dale Carnegie would tell you that figure out the things that scare you and then hit them head on. Now, I'm not going to hit on head. I guess I can't hit head on crazy people with weapons because I would avoid them if I saw them or was around them. And, I'm going to avoid stuff like that. But that being said, there are little things that you might be scared of that you could overcome. For instance, one time I went scuba diving. You ever been scuba diving? Okay, well, scuba diving, if you don't know what you're doing, it can be scary because you get in there, you get in the water, you got this big tank on, you have heavy gear, and you're in the water, and all of a sudden you think that you got oxygen flowing, and they're telling you, yeah, you got oxygen, but you start hyperventilating because you can't breathe, right? Because you're not getting enough oxygen. At least that's what your head's telling you, right? And, of course, the scuba dive instructor's telling you, you're fine, just relax, you're fine. And it was interesting because I was doing this and I didn't feel like I was getting enough oxygen. So I started to panic a little bit and I just get comfortable. And the guy's like talking to me, he goes, I tell you what, I want you to try something. And I said, well, what is it? He goes, just do the dead man's float. If you don't know what the dead man's float is, that just let your body go limp and just float there on the surface with your head in the water with the oxygen mask on you for the scuba diving equipment. And just do that for a minute. See if you can just float there for a minute. Now, I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to relax and just float. And I started to do that, and all of a sudden, amazingly enough, I was able to lower my heart rate. I was able to calm down. And then I was able to actually go underwater after that. So there are things that we can do in our lives to face fear. And what we have to do is talk to people who've overcome challenges before, learn from what they did, and then incorporate what they did into what we're doing. And when we learn how to do that, now we can overcome those fears. So my friends, for the sake of your mental well-being, think about the things you're scared of. and let's make the commitment to overcome those fears. All right. You owe it to yourself. You owe it to your family to overcome those fears. And take baby steps one at a time. But I tell you what, if you hit it like Dale Carnegie said, head on, and you keep going after it, time and time again, your confidence will grow as you attack what scares you, and then in time, you will overcome it. And how cool will that be when you overcome the fears that are holding you back from leading your best life? You owe it yourself. Go make it happen.